Man, that was really loud. I didn't mean for it to be that loud. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silverline One on One. Tonight we are one on one with John, the Viking Prince Voltan Martin. What's up, John?
What's
So
up?
I'm still trying to figure out a lot of this StreamYard stuff. Doing it solo tonight. Welcome everyone. I'm typing this in the chat. And I'm also going to try to make sure we get this stuff shared out through... Oh, I got to turn the volume down on that, though. Alright, so... Here we go. It looks like we're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube.
We're live on the book.
Good. Live to Twitter. Let me share this out. Come ask John some hard questions. All right, tweeting that out. You say we're live on the book too?
Mm-hmm.
Where is my book? Come here, book. So I always beg your patience. We will get into some tough questions with John. Just a second. Plus, we also have... Oh, I forgot to add him, didn't I? Gonna have some streaming cool art tonight while we talk. I just noticed...
If it's too cool, I'll get distracted. And I'll start watching cool.
I just noticed that I have to update the Silverline banner page. Okay, here we go. We're live. I'm gonna like that. I'm gonna share it now to the public. Gonna share it to my story, and I think we're good to go with the shares. And how did I get back over here? Give me that. All right, so see, Michael, I know. Sorry about that. Yes, hello everyone. Tonight, I feel like I gotta shift myself a little bit for this weird camera. So tonight, you know that we've been doing some of these one-on-ones. Tonight is all about John, the Viking Prince Voltan Martin. And we're going to find out what makes him tick, what his comic stuff is, all kinds of sweet, cool, comic, geeky fun. While we're doing that, we are going to be blessed with watching C. Michael stream.
Yay.
See, Michael, what are you going to be drawing for us tonight?
I'm starting on page number 12 for the rejects.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
12 means...
That means we're over the hump.
That we're over the halfway hump, and I'm so excited about this. I just get all giddy. So, so I'm anxious to, start adding words to it. So we appreciate you drawing tonight, C. Michael.
Anytime.
All right, so... Got the stream elements up so I can see all the chat. So let me go ahead and add C. Michael. And John, we're just going to dive in, man. We're going to start talking about you. We're going to start talking about what makes you tick. C. Michael, you want me to leave you here or you want me to put you in the studio?
Go ahead, put me back in the studio.
All right. All right, let's see here. There we go. Okay. Just send me a message on the book if you have something that you need. Okay, yeah, cool. So, John, I don't know if you watched any of these before. I know you watch a lot of the videos. Because you come and harassed me and Steve on OCD, the Lender Collector Deviants, as we were doing the drinking with gas.
I also messed with Tommy a little bit when he was on Indie Volt. So.
Okay, so but have you kind of know what the one-on-ones do, right?
I guess. I think.
Okay, good. Well, it's all about you. So don't be if I ask you something you don't want to answer, just give me the Prince Voltan stare, and we'll move on. Okay. But
I'll just yell die.
Yeah. So we'll have to get to that story too, of course. Now, John, before we get too far. Let's tell everybody what you are doing currently with Silverline.
Well, currently, right now, I ink pages over Aaron Humphreys Briar Rush.
Oops, hold that up there again. Oh, let's see if
Sorry.
can I do that. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how to get you.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. See how I don't want me. I want you. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice. That's over Aaron Humphreys.
Yep.
Yep.
And I've also Friar Rush #1 was also my first published cover, where I did the pencils and inks, and Mickey Clausen made it look all pretty.
So that was your first published cover?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, first one that I've actually penciled and inked.
Nice.
And
that is a good looking cover, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was good, a good looking cover, and I know that I mean, we've talked about it before on our Sunday stream, but that didn't start as a cover, did it?
No, it started. You and your boss was talking about how things for the Silverline store, and I was like, I'll do a print, Friar Rush print.
Yep.
Because there's all this cat and mouse stuff, so got to throw something Friar Rush up in there.
Cool.
And it kind of went from there.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, I've also done some work for Upper Deck for the Marvel Premiere set, and I recently did another set I can't talk about yet because I'm still waiting on approvals.
Okay.
And I've done the 25th anniversary of Chaos universe for Dynamite.
Cool.
I've done Red Sonja for Dynamite, and I have also done Fallout for Dynamite.
Wow.
I did 200 sketch cards for that set.
I was going to ask, how many? I know that asking any type of creator to do math is a big challenge, but roughly, how many total cards is that?
Let's see.
All total.
Well, for the Chaos set was my first ever set.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool because I loved Evil Ernie growing up and stuff like that.
And who doesn't love Brian Pulido?
Right? Ernie is Brian Pulido. Let's be serious.
He really is. I've said that to him multiple times.
That's who he's made after.
If you look at Brian Pulido from the well, I didn't meet him until the 90s, but if you look at him from like the late 80s and early 90s, if you see that
long hair, that
mullet, yeah, he is Evil Ernie.
And I did. They only had 13 cards available for that, so I did that. And then the Fallout, I did 200 cards.
Wow, that's a lot of cards.
And I knocked those things out in 2 weeks.
Wow, that's 100 cards a week. That's like 50 in 3 days, 3.5 days. That's 25, and I can't do the math. I'm trying to go half and half. 25 in like a day and a half. Holy crap, dude!
Yeah, that's because I had done another set. I had done another set for Upper Deck. I did the Marvel Premiere set for Upper Deck.
Yeah.
So I'd put too much on me, so I had to figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, no. Sometimes we learn under the biggest stress, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think I did 50 cards for the Red Sonja, I believe.
Wow. So you're talking about 250, 260, basically 263 cards, right?
For Dynamite, yeah.
Wow. Now, so I'm not really super familiar with them, and I know that there are probably some out here listening who aren't either. When you say you did these cards, the way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did these cards, you did the originals, you send them off to them, and then they package those originals randomly into
yes, they're one-ofs. They're one-offs. Yeah.
So they're not. They didn't make prints of them. They're not part of a. They're not part of a. I see you said. They're not part of a set that gets printed on a sheet and then trimmed and then sent out. This is one of a kind. So somebody out there has original John Martin cards that no one else has, and they don't exist anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah. I find that exceptionally cool. It's like, wow, these people who get this is really, really, really rare stuff to get.
Especially the Marvel Premiere stuff. That's a very high end set.
Yeah.
If anybody's familiar with the thickness, how they measure the thickness of cards. I mean, the Marvel Premier cards are almost like a 120 thickness.
I think you did a video the other day about how thick they are, didn't you?
I got one right here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, let me
Yeah, that's the Marvel Premier card.
Hold on right there. Let me get you solo. Boom, right there. Yeah.
That's Marvel Premier card. And to put it up against another card.
And that's still a pretty thick card though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not your kind of standard trading card.
No, it's not by any means. No. And of course this is one of the APs I still have.
Now what's an AP?
Artist proof.
Artist proof. Okay, cool.
I have some blank ones too, so
Cool.
yeah, that was fun to do. I'm actually getting paid to draw Spider-Man and Wolverine and stuff. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll bet. So John, Cedric Boyd says, Roland, John, Michael, hey, Silverliners, looking good tonight. See, Michael already replied to him. Thank you, Seb. I hope, I have a tendency to automatically, like, abbreviate people's names and just call them kind of by nickname. I do that with my students, too, So, Cedric, if calling you Ced bothers you, please let me know, because that is certainly not intentional. Cedric says, I'm waiting on Fire Rush #1 to come in. Yeah, I know I'm a late bloomer, but better late than never. We'll be reading it and framing it for my wall.
Are you the guy who got it from Indie Planet?
No, I don't know if he. I think. Well, I know Cedric backed. He might be the one who got it from Indie Planet, because he backed. I know the most recent Kickstarter. But he was just, and in his defense, what he's saying is he's a late bloomer. He's just kind of been only recently made aware of Silverline through Steve and OCD. So, excellent. He says no bother at all. And then he says, haven't met you yet. Oh yeah, he said he was him that ordered through Indie Planet. Yeah, he says, see, Michael, he hasn't met him yet, but he met both me and you, John, through OCD. You said you'll be seeing more of C. Michael. The page that he's working on is from an upcoming project that he and I are working on together, called The Rejects, about a bunch of rejected superheroes. It will be inked by Rebecca Winslow and colored by Adelia Gunderson.
That right there's got that Captain Hook look.
Yeah. So it's he's a French guy, so you had to give him the long sort of Frenchy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's exactly how you hear him, right? That's exactly how I hear him as well. And then he calls Cedric calls me the human calculator. Curtis, he says, see Michael Lanning. Hey folks, just stopping by to say hello before he goes to teach a class. What's up, Curtis?
Let's see. Should I Wu-Tang? No, there you go.
Yeah.
That's Curtis right there.
You better be careful, man. He'll throw down on you. He's a seafood. It don't matter how big you are, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. So what is the first comic you remember looking at, seeing, holding in your hands? And Curtis said, Wu-Tang. What is the first comic you remember looking at, seeing, holding in your hands?
I have to say it's first one I remember seeing, holding in my hands. Oh crap! I got to think hard on this one.
Sometimes I can't tell if you're being serious or if you're being sarcastic. You're like, I gotta think hard on this one. Okay, is this serious?
There's so many, because I sit there and I can tell you straight out the comic that I got, that I was like, in the moment where I was just like, this is what I'm doing.
Okay, because I'm going to ask that question, so don't forget that answer.
But it's I have to say, I think it was Wonder Man #1 from the 80s.
Oh yeah, written by Gerard Jones.
Yeah, with that painted cover.
Yeah, that beautiful cover. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Which I ended up losing it when I lost a bunch of comics that were stolen from me. But I got it back recently over the last years.
That's probably one you can find in the cheap boxes.
I got that from somebody my mother was seeing.
Really?
And yeah, because he's the one, he kind of introduced me to comics a little bit, you know. Uh, and I was like, this is awesome looking, you know. And I don't know, he had tons of them, and he made me look. He still, if I remember the guy correctly, I would still look small to him.
Really?
He
Wow.
was like 6'8", 6'9".
That's pretty impressive.
Um, so I had to say that was probably the first book I remember. Remember flipping through and go, oh, this is kind of cool. And then, going into some X-Men books and things like that. You know, after
So,
that.
so what is the first one? All right. So you already. Oh, thank you. So, pardon me here, John. My wife is bringing me some really cool homemade dessert here that's new, and so I'm going to probably ask you a question and expect you to talk for a very long time as I mute myself. Ooh, it smells really good too. Apple cinnamon thingy with almonds on. Oh, would you like to see it? I'll
No,
let you
not
see.
really.
Yeah. I'll let you see it. See. So anyway, all right. So what's the first one? Cedric said, "Sweet." Thomas Flormanti said, "Tommy Flormanti said, good evening." Hello,
What's up,
Tommy.
Ink Slinging Jedi?
Um, Cedric said New Mutants 98 was a birthday present for me from my dad on my 6th birthday. Holy mackerel. What a birthday present for you on your
Right?
sixth birth. Yeah. Good grief. I read somewhere that I can't remember exactly. I'm going to get the story a little bit long. But Rob, that's Rob Liefeld's New Mutants. Um, I'm sorry. Yeah, New Mutants. I read somewhere that there was something about that book that was causing Rob to stop signing them, and it had
There was
something.
he won't sign the facsimile. No,
Okay, all right.
and he won't. Yeah, it's the facsimile he won't sign.
Okay, all right, right. Okay, gotcha. And I remember it has something to do with royalties and stuff like that. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. What a cool birthday present, though. All right, all right, so you can't really remember the exactly the first one you put your hands on. What's the first one you remember? Now we're gonna get to the one that you said we're gonna get to that one in a minute. But what's the first ones that you remember saying? Hey, I like comic books. I want to read them regular. I'm gonna collect them. Do you consider yourself a collector?
Um,
I know that's kind of a broad term.
well, yeah. I mean, because I had tons and tons of books before they all got removed from me. Somebody wanted them more.
Ooh,
Uh,
that sounds like a horror story.
yeah, it really was because I had like Spawn like 1 through 80 and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, it sucked.
Oh my goodness.
No,
It's not a case of Mama throwing them out, is it?
no.
Okay.
Somebody breaking into the house and
Holy mackerel! No way! Someone broke in and stole your comic books?
yeah, this was some years ago.
Wow. Okay, so this is something I have to ask you, and never having been in your home, I can't answer this, but
It
I
wasn't the home
know,
I'm in now. It was another home.
yeah, but I know most people's homes they have TVs, computers, things like that. But yet, someone breaks in and they go for your comic books.
Well, they stole quite a few things. They
Okay.
also got my Fender Stratocaster and my Xbox
Oh
and a
my
few other
goodness.
things. Yeah,
So they were there for more than it was more than a quick smash and grab.
right.
Oh my goodness, dude, man, that has to be that's disheartening news for me to hear. Did you get any of it back?
I've gotten some of them back. I've
So
going around and buying them. Like I haven't like found the people and got them back from them, but
that's kind of what I was at. So the police were basically not able to help you get any of the stuff
yeah,
back. Oh man, I am so sorry to hear that. I've had my apartment broken in one time, and fortunately for me, I didn't have anything in there. I mean, literally, I didn't have anything in there. It was when I was living here, when I first started coming here, and I literally had an air mattress in the bedroom. I had some toiletries in the bathroom. I had a fold-out picnic table, right in the kitchen for where I would sit down and eat.
hmm
I had a lawn chair in the living room, and I had a rolling book rack with about a 13-inch black and white TV on it. I'm sorry, no. It was not black and white. It was in color. But it was about a 13-inch TV, and then I had a PlayStation 2 under it. And then I had a 6 or 7 DVDs, including the 1940s Batman or 50s Batman. I think it was the one in black and white, which I still haven't replaced. And then some PlayStation games, right? And then I had a few odds and ends in the kitchens.
Right.
So I literally had almost nothing in there, but they broke into the apartment and stole the PlayStation. They left the TV.
We don't want that crap.
That's exactly. Yeah, but they stole the PlayStation and all my games and all the DVDs.
Yeah, in that box where I had all my stuff, I also had like some 90, 94, 95 Marvel masterpieces now, card sets and stuff, like full sets.
Yeah, good grief, dude.
Yeah, it sucks because those were Joe Jesco's,
Yep.
sets. So that sucked.
Yeah. All right, so back to the stuff that you had before being broke into. What is some of the stuff that you remember? Some of the earliest stuff that you remember liking as a kid. You mentioned
X-Men,
the Wonder Man.
Well, and then I saw X-Men and Uncanny X-Men.
Okay.
And then I was
still during the Claremont Byrne era?
Or
was this
no,
Jim Lee?
this is Jim Lee Claremont.
Okay.
So yeah, I had Uncanny X-Men first, where I was, so it was Uncanny X-Men first, and then a couple of Wolverine issues, and I even remember having like the first print of those Jim Lee covers, X-Men #1.
Yeah, where all 5 of them connected together.
Yeah.
Yep. Excuse me. I couldn't find the mute button fast enough, but I at least found my paper towel here. Cedric said such a tragedy. I agree with him. That's terrible. All right, so were you now how old were you when you were reading these comics?
Oh
roughly?
Gosh.
Was this junior high, high school?
Elementary school.
Elementary school. Okay. Now, were you the only one? Did your friends read comics as well?
Yeah. With you I had, yeah. I didn't have a whole bunch of friends.
Yeah, I would love to tell you that surprises me, but as a creator, most creators I know are like, yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of friends in high school. I didn't have a whole lot of friends growing up, right?
No.
I mean, it's part of what drives you to being a creator, right? I mean, we're not going to get into
I don't know if I'd say that. But
oh, really?
Yeah. No, what drives me to be a creator was One Fateful Day.
Okay. So, well, then let's fast forward to that then. So, so you're reading these comics since elementary school.
It was probably 5th, 6th grade, something like that, when I kind of got into it.
Okay.
And it was probably 6th grade, going into 7th grade when I kind of
decided that's what you were going to do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty young. So what comic was it? And what was your thought process that says, I want to do this. This is what I want to do.
Well, I'll go over the whole story here.
Okay, please do.
There's a family friend named Harris Lentz. He called my mother up and was like, "Hey, y'all should come out here to Comics and Collectibles. They're going to have some folks in signing comics." And she finally said yes, sure. And me and my brother go down there, and it's Wolverine number 50 is the book. So Mark Silvestri, and I actually met Mark there. My mother's like, "Oh, you should bring your drawings and stuff like that." And of course, I'm a kid. I'm like, "Mom, they don't want to see my crap," And I'm sitting there and I'm talking with him and the other guys that are there, and he's signing my Wolverine comic. And he kind of flips through my stuff, and he says a couple things, and very encouraging. And I'm sitting there and I got my book and I'm walking out of there. I said, I want to do this. That was awesome. And I even got home, and of course, I'm a kid, and it's signed. I still go home and read the book, and I read through it, and it was like, this is awesome. So
Now, do you remember who I was there with him?
no, because he was really the only one who talked to me.
Okay, okay. I met him in about 1987, which was about a year before I actually kind of made the move to comics myself. This was at a show in New Orleans, and nobody. It was one of those shows that no one went to. Which, if you want to break into comics, those are the perfect kind of shows to go to, because that means the comic creators there have plenty of time to talk to you, right? Because there's no attendees there for them to sell to. I know
Right.
they hated it because there wasn't a whole lot of people coming along and buying artwork from them and sketches and stuff like that. But um, I got a great photograph with him as well. One of the few that I have from those times, and he was, I remember him then. He was exceptionally generous with his time and talking and speaking. Um, uh, See, Michael said, I needed to create friends, is why he started to drawing. And then I think someone special to him comes along and says, like your made up wife and kids.
Quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're ahead. But
um,
that whole day kind of was like, it's what, and that's when I kind of really started like trying to draw what I saw in the comics and things
yeah.
like that.
Now, here's a question for you. As an artist, when you first got started, did you ever trace? Did you ever kind of trace them to kind of get an idea of what that is? What's going on?
I think I tried it once or twice,
Mm-hmm.
and I know my brother did it a couple times. My brother actually traced in that Wolverine number 50.
Oh no. So you have indentions in your comic still?
Well, no, I don't have that book anymore. That book
Oh, one
found.
of the ones?
Yes. No, it was
Mm.
all of my books that.
Really? Wow. So I have to ask you, what year was this that the tragedy happened?
Oh crap! Mid to late 2010.
So
So,
so 10 years ago ish.
yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're talking about books from the 90s. So you had 10 plus years of collecting, because you mentioned
Yes.
the Wonder Man, which was from the 80s. So you had 10 plus years of
Oh, I have
collecting
some
of
old
all
Dick
your books.
Tracy's and stuff like that too.
Mm. Well, I don't know a whole lot about Dick Tracy's, but I do know just the man to talk to if you ever wanted to look to filling some of your non superhero, well, and some of your superhero books too. But Tom Ropp, the guy who runs Daytona Beach Comic Con, is he's always comes up with the weirdest comics that I've ever seen. I'm talking about these 1950s comics from movie adaptations, one with the photos on the covers and
Hmm.
and the cartoons and things like that. And of course, I'm tend to be more interested in the Marvel and DC of the time, but he always coming up with these weird comics. So, um,
I will say that I do have that Wolverine number 50 back,
okay,
and it is signed by Mark Silvestri, and
wow.
it is signed by Larry Hama.
So how did you manage to excuse me? How did you manage to get it signed again?
I actually found somebody who was selling a bunch of signed books.
Got you.
And I went through, did my research, of course, comparing things and stuff like that. And
Right.
of course, what I remember of what the signature looked like on
Mm-hmm.
top of it. And it looked legit. So I was like, I pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had Hama verify the signature on his book,
Nice.
his signature on the book. So, because he's been up here in Memphis twice.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool guy to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been down here a couple times. I've only seen him the one show that I guess he and who else was there? Was it he and Chuck? Anyway, um, all right. So you meet Mark Silvestri. You walk out of there thinking, "This is what I'm gonna do." I want to do
Oh,
this.
I was freaking on cloud nine
Yeah.
when I walked out of that building.
So, were you still in elementary school at that time
I think if I wasn't in sixth grade, I was in seventh.
when you met Mark Silvestri?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. So, how did you put that into play then? As a seventh grader, having just met Mark Silvestri, decided this is what I'm going to do. What did you do? How did you go from, all right, I'm on cloud nine. Mark Silvestri's really cool. He's encouraged me. Here's how I'm going to move forward and make comics.
I just was drawing. That's just what I did. I went home and I just started drawing, trying to, open up a Wolverine comics. Like, I wonder how close I can get to make this look like this, you know. And I really, I was young, so I didn't really have like a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, did you take art lessons in school? Did you take any art in high school?
Yeah,
I
I took all the art classes, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't listen. I was just kind of, I sat in the back of the classroom like this right here and just drawn whatever I wanted, But I did that in all my classes.
Now, were you the guy? They at school when somebody says, "Hey, we need a poster," for the band or for the drama team or for the theater department? Are you the
No,
guys that they would go to? No.
no,
Did you know
no.
that
But
guy?
I was that guy who always sat in the back of the classroom. No, I was always that guy that everybody would see my artwork and, hey, oh man, I really want you to draw me something. I really want you to draw me something.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Now, did you draw a lot for your friends and your schoolmates at the time?
Luckily, my junior eighth grade all the way up, my best friend who is a brother to me, he draws too. So I never had to worry with that with him or anybody who was in like my circle. So
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, so so once you got out of high school, did you decide, hey, I'm gonna this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go take. Did you take any kind of art school after that?
I went to Memphis College of Art for a year,
Okay.
um, and I broke one of my teachers.
So tell that story then. Tell us about the Memphis College. Now, is that part of Memphis State or is that
No,
separate?
no,
Okay.
it was a private college in
Okay.
Overton Park over there behind the Brooks Art Museum, and but I broke my. It was a 3D drawing class, and I think we were going over 2D perspective, and he was going. You got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do this, and I can't remember exactly what I said to him. I was like, "You can do it like this too." He goes, "No, you can't." I said, "Yeah, you can." He goes, "Show me." And I got up there and I did it, just kind of real quick. And he looks at me and he looks at it and, okay, everybody go to break. That class started 20 minutes ago.
Did he ask you to teach after that?
No, no.
Wow. Now, do you remember what class that was in?
That was 3D drawing.
3D drawing. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, he was a cool teacher. He
Yeah,
didn't.
but you broke him.
Yeah, I broke him that day.
So, Cedric says, "Rip John's teacher." So, I mean, what made you decide to drop out then? I mean, I'm assuming 1 year didn't finish the program.
No, it didn't. I just didn't feel like I was really learning anything there.
Now,
And I had bumped heads with one of the board members.
oh,
He stuck his nose in a little bit too far on something, and I went to his office and called him out for it. And then went back to my painting and went back to the painting. He was also my painting one teacher. I chewed him out one morning and then went out on the terrace and started painting. So I figured, you know what, I'm just done here.
yeah. Now, was this because and I asked this because I have an experience in college as well, um, not being real receptive to comic books, right? I mean, none of. I shouldn't say that. Spalding, where I ended up getting my MFA, was very receptive to the idea of comics and graphic
There's some
novels.
colleges are that, like I know Philip
Yeah.
McNulty. He's a friend,
Okay.
kind of, and he teaches up in somewhere up north.
I think I know that name.
He teaches drawing and stuff. Yeah, Philip's a pretty awesome artist.
I was gonna Google. I thought you'd talk longer. I was gonna Google real quick.
uh,
McNulty.
yeah,
Um,
I can't remember exactly where he teaches, but he
okay.
teaches at, I think I can't. It's New York, Jersey, somewhere up in there.
Yeah, it must be New Jersey. We're not friends on Facebook, but we have 25 mutual friends. So, um, yeah, lots of artist people,
Yeah.
good people. Um, so when you dropped out, then what did you? Were you all right? So back to my
Well,
question.
I'll say right towards the end of when I dropped out, I also ended up like kind of starting a family,
Okay, yeah,
and that of course derailed the whole thing.
yes, yeah. I totally understand that how family can affect your art life.
Totally a allowing
And
that to happen was totally the worst idea ever.
now I've met some of your family, and they're lovely.
Yes, this isn't that family. This
Okay.
is this that's my ex. That was towards the end of that art. Memphis College of Art was my ex-wife.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Now, is Michaela, the daughter I met? Is she your stepdaughter then?
Yes.
I did not realize that. I did not realize she is lovely. By the way, and I know that she does. There's a lot of things about her that just in what little I know about her that you should be very very proud.
Oh yeah, she's over there. She's over there in Hawaii now,
Is she
with the Navy. Yeah.
with the Navy? Okay, yeah, I knew she was with the Navy. I just didn't know where she was. Um, but yeah, no, she was a pleasure. Now, won't say so much about the person she was with at the time.
Yeah, we're not going to have that conversation.
Yeah. All right. So you get out of school, you get to start your family. Now, are you still into comics? Are you still buying them and reading them?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
At what point in time? Because I know that we have some mutual friends that enter into your life and become a inspiration to you. So, at what point in time and when and how did you meet Dean Zachary, and Mitch Faust, and Jim Hall?
Probably about 6, 7 years ago.
Okay, so this is fairly recent then.
Yes.
Okay,
I actually went to my first comic convention, which was the first comic expo. Just before that, I had decided, like maybe 6 months to a year beforehand, I'm going to start back drawing
okay.
because after at that point it had been almost 10 years since I had been drawing.
Wow. So you stopped drawing for
Stopped
about
drawing
10 years.
altogether,
Wow.
and I sat there, and after about a couple of weeks of drawing, I was like, "This is crap. Why did I ever think I could actually draw?" And I completely went about reteaching myself everything. I went started from the ground up.
Yeah.
Um, and then I met them at the no, it wasn't the Comic Expo. It was Memphis Comic and Fantasy.
Okay. The Joe Thorderson show.
Yes,
Yeah. Hmm.
I met them there, I believe. Yeah, it was one of the other shows. It wasn't the expo, but I
Okay.
met them there, and I'm talking with them, and I took my portfolio with me, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind looking at my portfolio?" And they looked it over, and they kind of said a couple things. Mitch Faust, Dean Zachary, and and I was sitting there looking at Jim Hall stuff, and I'm like, I really like how this background's done on this, this page and stuff like that. And he goes, really? Well, you're the first person to say that. um, but after all that, I took in everything they said. And that next few months before the next convention, uh, I put in a whole bunch of work because I was working probably 8 to 10 hours a day, and then coming home and drawing for another 8 hours or so.
Yeah, yeah.
I was putting in some serious time.
You were essentially working two jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next time I saw them, they're looking at it, and I see Mitch goes, and he says,
That's a good Mitch.
yeah, well,
Hmm.
yeah, and I realized that was that moment. He's like, he listened.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And it kind of just grew from there.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you from experience the number of times that you can, and of course the more shows you do, the more you'll see this as well, because particularly when you do your local shows, you'll see some of the same faces again and again, and you'll give suggestions and you'll give feedback, and then when you see them the next year, it's pretty clear to you who has a an eye for it. It's pretty clear to you, in a year's worth of time, did they actually listen to you? And have they actually done anything? I actually had an artist, believe it or not, I had an artist show me the exact same pages from one year to the next. And I'm like, I saw these pages last year. Don't you have anything new to show me? Yeah, it's very clear. And it gets, it's exciting. I mean, I can't speak for Mitch, but it's exciting when you talk to someone and you know that, you've said some things and they've listened to you and they've tried to apply them.
Yeah, and and I know, and I've sat there and I talk with them and everything, and they tell me other things, and like my first like freelance like designing job that I did for somebody on like a character, I got through
Uh-huh.
Dean. Like
Oh
Dean's like,
yeah.
hey, yeah, Dean's like, hey, talk with this guy, and he messages me. He's like, hey, somebody's gonna contact you about doing this gig.
Nice.
um, and of course, sitting there and talking with Mitch one day at MCFC, Memphis Comic and
Uh-huh.
Fantasy, because I've been working on inking, because I came to a point where I realized it's like, if I'm going to actually get into comics, I'm gonna have to, inking would probably be a better way for me to get in, because my sequential pages penciled look like junk.
Yeah.
Like they are, and I figured this out after I contacted the creator of co-creator of Deadpool, Fabian,
Yeah, I know Fabian.
and I asked him. I said, "Do you have any like sample scripts laying around that I can like do some, some sample pages on?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "I'm out of town, but message me, Monday, and I'll get them to you." And I did. And first time actually looking at a comic book script, and I was like, "Whoa!" It's like, so I got to go to Google to find out about this. And he
Uh-huh.
wants this and this and this. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in all honesty, it was intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I sat there and I was like, "All right, well, this one right here, it was a Red Robin or something like that book, I think. I can't remember exactly."
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting, "Oh, I'll try this one." And I went to go. The first page was a splash page, and I was giving it a shot. And I was like, "That is absolutely garbage."
Uh-huh.
It was so ugly and boring, and yeah, I wouldn't want to read that book.
Yeah.
Just looking at the first page, nope.
Uh,
And that's not being my worst critic. That was knowing what it should have, knowing what is actually in the industry and seeing what I did. And so I just like, inking's probably in. Of course, now, my luck. Everybody talks about, the job of the inker is dying. I was like,
no, it's not.
No, it's not dying.
No.
But it was, and inking comics is also a good way to be able to work with artists that you've always wanted to work with too.
Yeah.
And I've learned tons inking over people.
Yeah, hang on a second. I gotta do some banning here. Sorry about that. Yeah. No, it's on Twitch. You get some trolls coming in here, and they just trolling. So, and I'm not as quick on the trigger as Brett is, and so I'm kind of like, crap. How do I get in here and do this? How do I gotta remember how to do it? Oh no.
I don't know why people do that. Just bored.
Yeah, I don't either. It's like, what the heck, It's like, look, if you don't like the stream, don't listen. If you don't wanna, you're not interested in what we're doing, move along. Why you got to leave comments like they're leaving? It's like, yeah, what the heck. Anyway, so they're banned.
Yeah. Well, going into the whole, I ended up, pushing to really become an anchor. I will say that's how me and Mitch came up to me during that MCFC, and was like, and I was telling him about some stuff. He goes, "Would you like to ink a short story with me?"
Really?
Really? Hell yeah! You just asked me to ink a short story with you, Mitch? And that was Back to Earth. It was in the 901 anthology.
Okay.
901 Comics anthology.
Was this before the show that you and I met and talked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was before. And I have to say, Mitch is kind of like the dad I never had when it comes to, when you're telling him about stuff and you kind of see him it almost looks like he gets excited too for you.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's and that's usually one of my. I know you poke fun at me and going out to crap. Where's the sandwich place?
Nukes. Yeah.
Nukes. But that's actually kind of one of my highlights going up to the Memphis show is going out to Nukes with Mitch and you and Dean. It's kind of one of my highlights there. And it's one of the things that I kind of look for. Oh, I get to go to Memphis. I'm looking forward to this. And of course, Jeff was with us as well. He was my traveling buddy.
It was Mitch one year. It was Jeff one year and Tommy the other.
Yep. Yeah. Jeff one year and Tommy the other. Yeah. Jeff took a break from traveling. He had just gotten a new job, and I think that they weren't as receptive as him taking the Friday off to travel or the Thursday off to travel to do a Friday show, that kind of thing. So he had to sacrifice some of particularly some of the ones we had to drive to get to.
Bills come first.
Yep, absolutely. So all right. So let's talk about some of your inspirations and some of your influences. Let's talk about answer this in two ways now. Just some of the artists in general who inspire you, and I think I could probably answer some of those for you. But then specifically, what about the inkers? What inkers do you see, and do they inspire you? And do you, just talk about that.
Which one do you want me to go with, the inkers or the artists?
We'll just go with artists in general, and then go because you're focused on inking. We'll go with the artists in general, and then hone in on the inkers.
All right, so artists in general, obviously Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane.
Okay, cool.
Michael Golden, Art Adams. How his work is so clean.
Yeah.
Let's see. As it, those are probably some of the biggest ones. Kind of early on, and then David Finch. Freaking love his work.
Okay.
Um,
So a lot of these kind of West Coast style influenced artists.
well, yeah, because I was getting into comics, and then shortly after I got into comics is when Image kind of said, "Okay, here we are."
Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. Well, that
Um,
makes perfect sense.
so I got to see them all in Marvel, and then got to see them go into, you know, do their thing and leave Marvel. So I was
Yeah.
like, and how the impact that had.
Boy, that was an exciting time.
Yeah, you were in Malibu during that time.
I was. And I had a conversation with somebody, about toxicity and kind of in the community, and they're like, "Yeah, well, that didn't exist when Image was around." I'm like, "Oh, yes, it did. It just wasn't on the internet."
Right.
There was a lot. We got our news at the time. We got our most of our news from the Comic Buyer's Guide. Now there were other places. Comic Shop News was a big one, but Comic Shop News was a smaller weekly publication, whereas Comic Buyer's Guide was a big, thick weekly publication. I mean, it was a big honking fat, and of course they had lots of ads, but they also had columns in there. They had back. I mean, this is where Larson and Peter David had their war.
I thought that was McFarlane and Larson. I
Was
mean,
it McFarlane?
McFarlane and Peter David. Yeah, it was
Uh,
McFarlane and Peter David because they at a convention they went up against each other. It's even on
you may have
YouTube.
been right. Yeah. Who was name
And I
withheld?
think kind of when I kind of hear about it, looking back on it, I mean, part of me kind of wonders if Peter David kind of felt a little burned by McFarlane because he left.
It's possible. No, it was Eric Larson. Yeah. Um, yeah, Eric Larson. That's what I was thinking. Eric
Okay.
Larson
Well, I
wrote.
know Peter David and McFarlane kind of went at it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, and a lot of it had to do with. Yes. See, Michael Lanning says, "Yeah, McFarlane." Of course, knowing Larson, he said some things too. Well, Larson's the one who wrote under the name withheld. He sent it. He sent in. I think what happened, if I recall correctly, Peter David wrote something, and then Larson responded and just said name withheld. Peter David then responded again and said, "Dear name withheld," and they literally started a letter battle in the Comic Buyer's Guide, and it eventually came out that it was Eric Larson. But it's possible you're right because the Image guys, they said a lot of harsh things about uh, Marvel and the writers that they were working with at the time. And so, when someone says that there wasn't a lot of toxicity back then, I'm like, well, yeah, there was. I mean, we have Twitter today, in which it's immediate. But back then,
Right.
you kind of had to wait a week.
Yeah.
It was in the newspaper. And when I say newspaper, I mean the comic book newspaper, which was the Comic Buyer's Guide. I used to love getting those things, and it was the kind of thing. If you were in the industry, if you planned to be in the industry, you got the Comic Buyer's Guide because that's where all the news was.
I used to get the old Wizard magazines.
Yeah, yeah. Wizard came along.
Mid to late
In the
90s.
'90s, yeah,
Yeah.
in the '90s, as a kind of a part of. I mean, they were really kind of part of that West Coast image kind of movement. And
Yeah,
it was,
they came out shortly after with Wizard, shortly right around the same,
yeah, I want to say
probably just
probably,
after
I want to say
Image.
90, 93, 94, something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, when was Wizard magazine uh, published? Um, July 1991, so a little bit earlier than I thought.
Mm.
Um,
I didn't start getting Wizards that early. I can tell you that for a fact.
well, I remember them. I remember them coming out because they were kind of a competitor to the Comic Buyer's Guide, but they supported the newer publishers, where Comic Buyer's Guide was very much Marvel and DC, and I mean they had a lot of other stuff as well. But Wizard was very very much an image oriented magazine. Probably others as well, but yeah, they were
Oh,
very
yeah, that
because
reminds me because
image was the hot thing.
and I just remember because of Wizard magazine is where I discovered Brian Boyland and Bart Sears,
Oh yeah, yeah. Now
and those and I love their artwork too.
yeah. Now Bart Sears ended up doing some. If I don't, no, I'm thinking the Adam Hughes. Never mind. I'm trying to think some Sketch magazine. Adam Hughes ended up doing some stuff for Sketch magazine pretty regular.
Yeah, and quite jealous of Adam Hughes' ability with Copic markers. I can't even begin to tell you. Him and
Yeah.
David Yarden, the Australian David Yarden,
Yeah, I
his
don't know
his
that
use
name.
of
Yeah.
Copics, his use of Copics is insane.
Wow. Yeah. All right, so let's move to inkers then. So these are kind of artists in general who inspire you. When you are looking to inkers for inspiration, who do you look at, and who would you say maybe were the top 5 inkers in the game today, and then maybe who do you look at overall that it kind of you look at and go, man, this is kind of I want to do this right here.
Oh man. Well, what kind of made me sit there and go, I want to do inking was because I
Hmm.
found out that I'm totally going to butcher his name, the creator of Bishop. Um, Willis.
Oh, Will Spertatio.
Yes,
Yeah. Uh huh.
he he started as an inker,
Yep. He sure did.
and I was just kind of I didn't know that because I remember he was doing a stream on Facebook actually before it really got big, and he was being interviewed and stuff. And it was just typing interview and people asking questions, and he answered several questions for me. So I kind of got to talk with him back and forth. I kind of took up like 5 minutes worth of talking with him. But yeah, that's how he started. So I was kind of like,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Now he did a lot of early Jim Lee stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
Uncanny X-Men stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's kind of where it kind of helped me make the decision. I'm going to go off and doing the inking. But Scott Williams, obviously, he's
Yeah.
Danny Meeke,
Okay. Cool.
Sandra Hope, Jay Liston, Jonathan Glupton. John Lucas, actually, I found out.
Johnny Lucas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some of
okay.
the stuff that he's inked.
Yeah.
Um, Norm Rapond. I can't
Ratman.
probably-
Norm Ratman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Norm. Yeah.
Let's see. God, crap. He inked Mike Zeck.
John Beatty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked a bunch of their
Yeah,
stuff.
good inkers.
Yeah.
So who do you look at when you're looking for? Are these the same inkers that you look at today when you're looking for ink inspiration?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have. I'll show you. Here's the Jonathan Glupton page right here.
Hold on, let me get up.
It's
close
a
to
print
you.
of the page, but still
Okay, cool.
from him inking over Capullo. And the crazy thing is, you can kind of see the trust between him and Capullo because of the notes you kind of see written off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw. Remember, it's one of the things like you know what to do. Just do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that comes with repetition for a team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I think I think he's been eking Capullo since Haunt.
I don't know what year that was.
It was. I know it was an image book. Haunt. I can't remember when it was. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
because I think Capullo was doing Spawn too.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh. Well, when you think of the classic pencil and ink teams, who are some of the people you think of? I mean, I'm guessing that you're going to say Lee and
Jim Lee and Scott Williams is one.
Williams. Mm-hmm. Who are some of the
Um,
others when you think of classic pencil inker?
I have to sit there and go, Jack Kirby and Joe Snot.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's a great one.
Because I'm trying to think. Actually, Capullo with Todd inking over him was really good too.
Okay.
Because that went on for a while when Capullo came on to Spawn. Let's see. And then of course, and the Capullo Gallupton team's really good. Trying to think. There's just so much. Trying to remember everything and bring it out of the Rolodex.
Yeah.
Because man, it's just because it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. You don't realize you don't. Sometimes you'll see the art and then you're like, I really love that, and you remember the penciler, and then you find out a few years later who the inker was, and you're like, holy crap!
Yeah.
And you find out what else they inked.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember Sandra Hope did a bunch of stuff for Image and Wildstorm. And there was a bunch of stuff that she had worked on that I liked that I didn't even realize until a few years later.
Huh.
And
now, go ahead.
Oh, and I forgot to mention Gary Martin.
Oh yeah, Gary. Now, do you have Gary's book?
I do. The Inking Bible, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
The Inking,
Yeah.
The Inking Bible. And Danny Minky's Danny Minky and whoever, it doesn't matter who he inks over. It really doesn't. I don't know what it is about Danny's work, but Danny can ink with anybody, and it just comes out phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, now
he's a machine.
So that brings up a question. A lot of people, a lot of fans follow. They follow specifically, writers. They'll follow pencilers. Do you follow inkers? Are there some inkers that you're like, okay, if this inker is doing this, I'm gonna buy it? And who would they be?
I think it's a little bit of artist and inker. Because even though I love Sandra Hope's inks, there's some of Ramada stuff that I just can't get my head around.
Okay.
I think him and those two did a Superman book not too long ago, and I just can't get around Ramada's pencil sometimes because they're just blocky.
Yeah.
I guess we can call them Kirby-ish, but not quite Kirby.
Right.
But I guess I'm more like the full package. The artist, the inker,
okay.
the story.
Who are some of your rock star teams in?
Well, Jay Liston and Steve McNiven.
Okay, I don't even know either one of them.
Jay Liston, Death of Wolverine.
Okay, all right.
They worked on that, and the artwork's just phenomenal.
Okay.
They're I don't know why they don't do more books together. I don't know what Marvel. You need to fix this. Let's see here.
Maybe they'll give us a thumbs up on the video.
Going back, anything Mickey works on. I can't even remember who Mickey's last worked with. I know there's a couple of artists that ink themselves, like Ken Lashley inks himself, but
Mm-hmm.
his work is out of this world. And on top of that, he's probably got he's got the personality that's just amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Super nice guy.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I actually worked with Ken in
I
the
think
90s.
yeah. David Finch and and Danny Meeke.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
was an
Yeah.
awesome combination. That
Cool.
was some really high end stuff. Um, and actually, Glupton and Finch did some good work too for a few issues of Wonder Woman. I just can't remember what happened.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like all the Rockstar teams kind of moved from Marvel to DC.
Yeah. And then you mean exclusively one way or kind of back and forth?
Well, no, it's kind of like for a moment there it went exclusively one way.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it's like all the high end ink, like all the inkers had been at it for a while, kind of went over there. Um, and then I think you still got Jay Liston over at Marvel and JP Mayer. JP Mayer and Ryan Stegman. They are kicking out some amazing stuff right now.
okay. Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot
Of
of.
course,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and of course, you know, when I did that ink audition for Marvel, they sent me
Yeah.
Stegman pages, which was something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you never heard back from them, did you?
No, still haven't heard a thing.
Yeah. No, neither had. I think you talked to Jeff, and neither is Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, my inking now is better than what I did then. So
Yeah. Um, yeah. Did you happen to view that video that I put in our chat from Ross Ritchie from Boom?
no, I didn't. I
Yeah,
must have missed it.
it's a it's a good video, and he talks about well, it's in the Team Silverline chat, and that chat can sometimes get noisy. Um, he talks a lot about a lot of things that I think is really good for artists who do want to go on and work for people like Dark Horse or Image or Marvel and DC. Good video. Um, so
I have to. Yeah.
yeah, you'll have to scroll back quite a way, I'm sure. But it's from Ross Ritchie, who drops some truth. Yeah, there was one. He was standing at the garbage can, and people had submitted books to him, and he literally just submitted books and ideas and stuff, submissions, and he literally just took them and threw them in the mail. I'm sorry, threw them in the trash. But then he explained, he talked about here's why I do all this. Here's what all this is. But I think it was a great video from him, kind of explaining, hey, here's what you guys need to be aware of if this is something you want to do. Yeah, Ross is good comic people. Um, so so I know you work a full time job. You're inking Friar Rush now. You're inking. I know other stuff. You're doing commissions. You're doing. Um, I'm sorry. Did I?
No. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
okay. Yeah.
you're pretty much on. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Fire Rush is pretty much the project I'm working on right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
inking some ink samples, kind of updating the portfolio,
Sure.
stuff like that because of between everybody I've got critiques from and people who've given me insight. Mikey Belansky was one of them who gave me kind of a critique, the last critique I had, aside from Finch and them at the last expo.
Yeah.
Um, so I've kind of been I'm redoing the Stegman pages, and I'll be redoing the Ramos pages at some point. kind of redo the portfolio up a little bit and kind of get it ready. So.
Yeah. So when you look back over your pages, well, and let's just say Fire Rush, because Fire Rush is out now. You can hold the printed book in your hands. Do you look back at any of those pages and say, if I had that to do again, I would do this differently on this page and this differently on this page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
as I've been doing Fire Rush, I've been growing stuff.
Yeah. Well, and you know, as someone who publishes the books, that's what you want to see. You want to see the artists that you're working with. You want to see them growing from the time, you know, and you don't want to go back and undo or redo any things, but you want to see, hey, look, you know, this is what John did on this issue. Man, look at what he's doing on the next issue. I can only imagine what's going to come next, you know. And for me, that's kind of an exciting to be watching, you know. Wubba Fett says, hey y'all.
Wubba.
So if you I mean, if you could go and do something right now, if you could pick your dream comic today, what would you go ink? What would it be? And over who?
I'm gonna be honest. I would love. There's more than one.
Okay.
Like if I could get, if one would be David Finch.
Okay.
Obviously, another would be Ryan Stegman.
Okay.
Part of me would love to be able to have things come full circle, and be able to work with Mark Silvestri.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like honestly, like that would be I'm gonna be honest, that would be the top one. If that ever popped up, I'd be like, everything else could go out the window. You know, because it would be nice to have things come back full circle and be like, hey Todd, remember I met you back in the '90s? Yeah, you're the reason why I do this now.
I was 6 years old.
or Mark, yeah. I was 10, 11 years old, something like that. So that would kind of be like bringing things full circle. I would probably lose my stuff. Yeah. They wouldn't be able to contain me in the house.
Oh no, he's at it again. Mark Silvestri, huh? Wonder how hard that would be to arrange.
It'd probably be pretty difficult.
Yes, I would imagine. Wubba said, see, this is why me and the Viking get along so well. Silvestri love.
I know he was doing like a Batman book for DC, and I don't know what happened with that. But I remember he was posting pages he was doing, and of course he's inking himself. And they were absolutely amazing.
Well, I'm assuming that you've watched many of the Image documentaries.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you dude, you should.
When do I have time, Roland?
Well, you know what? You're an artist. You can sit there and ink while you watch, right? That's what all my artist friends tell me, is that I can watch TV, I can listen to podcasts.
No, I can't watch TV. If I watch it, I'm not inking.
Well, you could just listen to it. You don't have to listen to Rob McFarlane. Rob Liefeld.
Wow.
Yeah. Rob do his Todd McFarlane impressions, which are really good, by the way.
Well, I mean, I don't. Two things. I don't have cable.
Yeah, it's on the internet.
Yeah, and in all honesty,
I don't have cable either. I haven't had it for 20 years.
And sometimes I don't think about it when I'm working.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just kind of like find something I've watched like 1,600 times on Netflix just so I have noise in the background.
Well, I think there's actually something on Netflix. I'll have to go back and look. There's one of the things, and I say this because I've seen this on more than one of the documentaries. It seems like the image creators all tend to agree that Silvestri is the best artist of the bunch.
And Silvestri's still growing, and that's what's crazy.
Just in terms of pure raw talent and skill, they're like Mark Silvestri is the most talented of all of us.
Like when you look at the fact of what they produced back when they were working for Marvel and what they do now, like Mark has grown,
Yeah,
like leaps and bounds compared to the rest of them,
and he was
and
about
it's nuts.
he was about to quit comics before they approached him with the Image thing. He said he had gotten to the point where he was just tired of comics and he was getting ready to quit, and they approached him with Image, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'll give this a shot.
Yeah, Cyber Force was one of my favorite books.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wubba says he sketches in pencils and finishes the page in ink now. So it's very organic art, very Frazetta-ish.
Yeah, he actually uses Copic Tech pens.
Okay, wow.
He does all to ink. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it can be kind of sketchy-ish.
Yeah, I would think so.
Like the quicker the sketches are.
Yeah.
But like this one particular image I saw was like this panel, and it's got all this intricate details in it, and it's this train on a rail and all this other stuff in the background. It looked like it went on for miles.
Wow, cool. Yeah. I know that's Tommy, I think, likes to call it the scritchy scratch kind of look that the West Coast Image, a lot of those guys kind of had with the pen look. See, Michael says there's an Image documentary on Amazon Prime. So, and I think I've seen that one as well. But yeah, there's a handful of them out that they're all kind of worth watching. Because that's a very interesting time in comics, and certainly there was a lot of money in comics in the early 90s. I mean, a lot of money. People still, there are people still frothing at the mouth for that kind of return, and I'm not sure that we'll see that, but but it was sure a good time to be working in comics in the early 90s.
Man, there were so many great books coming out at that time, though.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff. Marvel and DC both were they were both producing some good stuff at the time, as well as the independents were making good books. So it's not that
there was tons of crossovers in the 90s. Tons. Like you had Batman versus Predator. And it was and of course the big Marvel and DC
the amalgam
crossover that happened.
Yeah.
The whole by vote. You voted for who won. I guess that was the only way to really be fair.
I don't know. The only thing I started to vote on the death of Robin when DC killed Robin, but then I realized they were going to charge me 50 cents, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pay 50 cents to vote. So I hung up.
I like to say when they were going to kill. I like just saying no to Jason Todd, and they're like, and folks be like Red Hood. I'll be like, no, back when he was Rob.
Yeah. So what are the tools that you use now, and what are some of the pros and cons of what you're doing with the tools as an inker? And has that kind of changed in the time since you started? So if you met Dean and Mitch and them about 6 years ago, would it be fair to say that you've really kind of only been renewed this about 7 years ago? Or was it earlier than that?
Yeah, something like that. 7, 8 years ago, something like that.
So you've kind of been at this.
I can't remember exactly.
Current. You've been at it for about 7 years.
Yeah, 7, maybe 8 years. Getting close to maybe. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
Well,
some of the days just kind of come together.
Sure. Well, I can tell you from a personal standpoint, dude, it's an honor for me that Silverline is publishing some of your first work. Because I look at it and say, wow, this is this is good stuff that you're doing. And again, I see it. I'm like, man, you're only going to get better and better and better. And that talks about. All right, so Tommy's got a couple questions. He says, "What brush do you like? And any quills?"
When we talk about brush, are we talking about brush, or are we talking about to-go brush, as I
I'd
like
say
to call it.
I'd say talk about both of them.
Okay, well, brush it's a Raphael Sable number 2. Is what I use there, and then of course if it's hard to carry inks around. You know,
Yeah.
I've got Sumi ink here, and I've got Speedball Jet Super Black. um, but I also have gone through several different brush pens. I've got the Pentel pocket brush and stuff like that, but I'm really liking the Tombow brush pens.
Okay.
And I found out that there's actually quite a few people who use these too in the industry. It's kind of like a foam style brush pen, but it's got a decent amount of flex in it for being it's kind of stiff, but it's got some flex to it.
Okay.
So you can get some really nice. A lot of people talk about how you can't really get small lines with a brush pen, but I can get some insanely small lines with this. Smaller than I can with the Sable, because obviously it's got a little bit more flex to it.
Gotcha.
And I haven't really touched a quill in probably about a year and a half, 2 years. So everything I do is with brush.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of the brush, and I tend to, as one who looks at them, I tend to gravitate towards the people who at least have a brush look to their stuff. Tommy says, "What brand ink do you use?"
I'm still kind of dancing around that. You see the Sumi ink here, Speed Black, which I heard about. I think I heard about that through Glupton. The Eon Vortex black ink, matte black.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. What else? The Bombay Black's pretty good. There's a few. Whatever. Don't use Higgins. That stuff's horrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
Higgins.
it's basically like watered ink. It might as well be watercolor ink. It's horrible.
Well, Tommy also asked, "Do you doctor your inks? Do you add any additives?"
I didn't know that was a thing. If that's a thing, I didn't know about it. Teach me. And of course, I've got some white Bombay inks, and I've got Pro White. And of course, gel pens, white gel pens, and Presto white out. So
then do you have a toothbrush laying around for the splatter effect?
I've got 4.
4.
Yes, I've got one for black, one for white, and one for red.
Okay. So whoa. Red. You actually use red ink?
Yeah, I have red Bombay ink that I use for like my own stuff.
Really?
Like if I do commissions and stuff like that. Like I did a Vampirella commission that's got like blood like running down over and stuff like that, and I used it.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone ink with red before. That's pretty interesting.
I'm surprised it wasn't used on the new Black, White, and Blood Wolverine book that just came out or going to come out.
Well, so I know one of the things one of the things that we used to do, you could just ink it regularly and just indicate, this is going to be red as a kind of a color hold.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't do that obviously if you're drawing directly onto the paper, but if you're going to print with it, you can. I think Tommy's even inked it as a different layer. Just say, hey, everything on this layer, which is essentially what a color hold is. Everything on this layer is going to be red, as in blood.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between inking, on paper and inking digitally. So I guess that's a question for you. Is that with the trend, we're sitting here watching see Michael, and he's doing everything digitally. With the trend kind of being mostly digital stuff, and I know you ink exclusively. Is it exclusively
Yeah,
traditional?
it's all traditional.
Okay. So is there any desire, plans, intentions, wishes to go digital on your part at all?
I mean, I don't know because part of me kind of feels like it doesn't have the same life to the digital inks as it
Mm-hmm.
does to the traditional. But then there's folks like Tommy who can make digital inks look just as good as the you know the uh, the traditional inks.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like I don't know. I mean, but most of the traditional inks that I do see out there, like actually out there in the industry, when I find out, hey, this is being inked traditionally,
Right.
digitally, I look at it and I go, because let's be honest, you can't get if you're doing it traditionally, you're not going to have lines that incredibly straight
Yeah.
hatching. There's going to be a little bit of a wave to it, but that's
Well,
kind of part that adds, a little bit of the
yeah.
texture to it, and the organicness to it,
Yeah.
you know. And given this is the thing, some people I don't know if they understand or not. Those little small waves when you're doing those hatchings, uh, they vanish when you freaking shrink it down. The line kind of almost seems like it kind of straightens itself out when you shrink it.
Yeah. 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 And a lot of it depends on how big the line is, of course. You
Yeah,
know. I mean, if it's a bigger line, that certainly when you shrink it, then you're going to lose. I mean, then some of that will disappear because it gets smaller.
right.
Um, Wubba says Barb is killing it digitally too. You can't tell her stuff apart, traditional or digital.
No, you can't. And I mean, I just use Tommy as an example because he's in the
Yeah.
chat. Because
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan Gluckton's done. I've seen him where he can you tell if this is traditional or digital, and
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
And it's like fucking hate y'all.
Yeah, yeah. I like the idea of digital. I know that this is something Tommy and I talk about quite a bit. So I like the idea of digital. I really do. But I like the idea, and so this is something I know Tommy did with Trump's, and he chose, having seen the pencils, he chose a couple. I don't know how many. I want to say 4 or 5, maybe. He chose 4 or 5 pages to ink traditionally for the express purpose of, making them available for the Kickstarter and having them as original art that way. And then the rest of it, he's just like, look, I'm just going to do it, the rest of it digital.
Yeah,
And that totally makes sense.
yeah. I don't know. I kind of I really like having the pages in my hand.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, you're gonna have, if you don't get super anxious, you'll have super anxious to get rid of them. You'll have original art that you'll be able to carry around with you for a while. And the truth of the matter is, um, you know, Friar Rush One is always going to be your first published book, right? Full comic.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will always be your first published full comic. And so as you go along, there are going to be John Martin fans that say, "Hey, this is from your very first published work. I want a page." You know, and with original art, they're going to be able to own that. And without that, then they can't. They can own the book and your autograph, but and a sketch or something, but they won't be able to own the original art.
Yeah. I think the first published piece I did was actually based on how it came out timing wise.
Uh-huh.
Was for
901 Comics.
no. It was
Oh,
actually the Collectors Corner, which is a
sure.
comic book group here on Facebook.
Yeah.
Awesome guys that run it, and I'm friends with a couple of them. Mike Strickland being one of the admins.
Right.
They had put together and was doing a pinup book under Antarctic Press
Okay.
called Steam Age Wasteland.
Okay, I think I remember that.
And Monty Michael Moore did the cover. Amazing stuff. I love his artwork. And realized that I liked his artwork a lot longer than I actually knew, because he'd done work for D&D and stuff like that back in the 80s and stuff. So, and I got a message from Mike Strickland saying, hey, we need somebody to ink something really quick for us, turn it around pretty quick. Can you do it? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, send it to me. And they sent it to me. And I can't remember who did the pencils. I think Marco something. I think he kind of was in. I think he ran a comic book shop with Corey for a little bit. And I get them, and they're so light. They're really, really light.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there trying to fight with it and fix it, and trying to, And when I convert it over to blue line, it's even worse.
Oh my goodness!
Obviously. Yeah. So I'm sitting there fighting with it and trying to figure out how to get this to work properly, and there's stuff, I feel like there's stuff missing that didn't show up in the scan and things like that. And I couldn't get anybody to send me anything, hey, send me a picture of the drawing, send me something. Yeah. I couldn't get anything like that. So I just went ahead with what I did, turned it around in a day, So, and it was in that book under Antarctic Press, Steam Age Wasteland. That was the first one.
Cool.
And it was just a single page. And then it was 901. And then it was the making of Back to Earth, and that Mitch put together, where it's got some commentary by Mitch and by me.
Okay,
and
yeah.
The folks that created the characters, and then it was 901.
Okay, I think Mitch also used that story in his annual, right? Mitch does his.
Yeah, I think he
yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think I remember seeing it in there. Yeah. Tommy said the reduction smooths out inks a lot. I love it.
Reduction.
Yeah, when you're talking about taking the original art and reducing it down, because it's reduced by about 64%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he says he loves it. And then he says, have you tried inking digitally? Have you actually tried inking?
Years ago I did. I actually have. I don't. Hold on. Yeah, I actually have a Wacom.
Okay.
It's an old bamboo, and I've tried it a little bit, and I'm not a real big fan of doing something like this and looking up at a screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now if I was like to get an iPad Pro or something like that, something where
screen.
And it's got sensitivity levels where I can actually get the different line weights and stuff like that. I may try again.
Yeah.
But that way, I'll use it for coloring, but I just can't do the inking on it. I tried it. I think it was a David Finch Wolverine tried, and it's not good. It's not good.
Well, from listening to people and talking to Tommy, and I remember talking to Stephen Butler when he was kind of making that transition. He was like, you kind of got to teach yourself kind of how to do some of this stuff all over again, because you're used to holding the pencil and looking directly at it, and then you're kind of it's just a different thing. So
I will say this, and I'll pull it out. I'll pull out the Bible here.
Yeah.
There is actually, because when he did this second edition, because he added a section for doing digital.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to see, where is it? No, that's going over.
This is the Gary Martin book, right?
Yes, it is. And I mean, he's got several things about textures and stuff in here that I try to go back and look at. Sometimes I forget to.
Yeah, Wubba says it takes time to get used to drawing digitally. It's a very unnatural feeling at first.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I got so much stuff over here, freaking dog-eared.
Yeah.
Texture reference guides that he's put in here.
It's
Now,
funny. I'm going to shift gears on you briefly. I see Michael working on this image here this panel he's working on, and it's just a stick figure at this point in time. But I know exactly who that is just by the stick figure.
I'm sitting there flipping through, and I should just look at that. Yeah, it's got a section right here for digital inking.
Yeah, yeah.
And it kind of gives you a little bit on like how to kind of mess with your settings and stuff like that too. So
yeah. Well, and I think a lot of it, just like inking traditionally, a lot of it is you just got to figure it out. You just gotta kind of play with it and figure out what works for you and as far as the settings and everything, I know Tommy has shown me all kind of cool stuff that he can do on the tablet. So lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, I know texturing's like 100 times easier digitally than it is traditionally.
So we know we know you're halfway into Friar Rush issue 2.
I'm almost finished with page 15.
So you're more than half. Friar Rush is 3 issues. Number 3 is already penciled, so it's waiting. It's waiting for you. Anything kind of beyond that you could see, that you can talk about, that you're aware of? Anything plans that you want to tell us?
Not that I know of, unless there's something that. Yeah, not that I know of. Okay. Unless there's something that you're not telling me.
No. Well, I told you the other day that your announcement of that fact took me a little bit by surprise.
I mean, it's kind of like I'm doing the ink samples for one, just to kind of show how I improved, and trying to, and another thing, some of it's because Friar Rush is a different style than what most stuff out there is.
Yeah, Aaron has a unique style.
Yes. And actually, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that like it. Like, I'll be sitting at work inking over his pencils, and they're like, "That's an awesome looking page."
Yeah.
Whereas, I inked over some, but I try to do the more complex inks, like the Ryan Statement inks and stuff like that, to kind of gauge how I do with that, and also kind of keep that side, fresh.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
It does. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I think it's a great idea for you to ink over different styles, to keep your brush sharp, as it were.
Yeah.
Totally fantastic idea. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't even aware that you were kind of. I knew you were doing the cards and some of the other stuff as well, but until you mentioned that, I guess Sunday. Was that last time? Was this yesterday?
It was Thursday.
Thursday.
I was talking about doing some stuff, and actually, I wasn't even talking about that. I mean, I had kind of come up with an idea for something that I was going to start kind of concept designing and writing up, that I think make a good book.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it kind of surprised me, and I remember it was Thursday now on with OCD. I knew it wasn't more than a week, because I'm sitting there thinking I hadn't had time to do anything with that information yet.
Yeah. I mean, you sent me something to kind of.
I did.
And I'm working on it, and I'm eventually going to have to get my ruler out and for some of this mechanicalness.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be some of that in that project. So, but yeah, All right. Well, clock is 10:43. These things usually go about an hour and a half. So, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you're like, man, why, Roland? Why didn't you ask me this? I wanted you to ask me this. That you want to answer?
And not that I know of. I mean,
No.
I don't know if I'm gonna be doing any cards for a while.
Okay.
Um,
So I should work hard to find something else because you're going to be wrapping up Fire Rush quickly. Then is that what I'm hearing?
uh, hopefully,
Okay, cool, cool. Well, I always like to hear that. The thing about it is, I always say, the when we're talking about Kickstarters, I can't kickstart them until they're done, and so, you know,
I think that's the only way
um,
to do it. I mean,
yeah,
if unless you're doing a really, I think the only person I know who hasn't been done with a Kickstarter, but was close to being done, he just had a few pages left to do, was Chris Capana
uh huh,
and his Adventures of Parker Reef, which, by the way, is a freaking amazing book.
really.
Oh man, yes, it's even nominated for Ringo Awards.
Yeah, I see you,
Um,
Wubba. Yeah, I have pledged to some by some bigger names that they weren't done, and it's been kind of disappointing because one of them is one of my favorites, and I've been waiting 2 years for the book now.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, and this is one of the reasons. No, this is one of the reasons that me as a backer. I want to know that your book is done, but then also this is why it's important for I think for us as Silverline to say, look, you back our books, you're going to get them in a reasonable amount of time. We need to get the money, and then I can get the money, and then I can place the order, and then it takes a couple of weeks to get them printed, and then we can ship. But that's not an unreasonable amount of time. It's not like none of them have ever taken more than I don't think 2 months.
well, no, and
Um,
Chris, I think Chris wasn't. I may be wrong, and may have been done with the book.
yeah.
I think I remember seeing something. He still had a couple things left to do on the book, but it was still within a reasonable amount of time. Especially when you consider what the book meant to him.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I don't know if anybody knows a lot about Chris Capana. He's an amazing artist and an amazing guy. And that book was kind of like that book's his ode to a situation that he had that a lot of people know
yeah.
because I think the love of his life and his child both died. So the Parker Reef book is his son in the afterlife looking for him and
Ah,
things like that. So that's part of the reason what made it a freaking amazing book. So
yeah. See, Michael, get your finger out of your nose. We're about to bring you back on. So all right. So John, is there anything that you want to add? Something that you wanted to say to anybody who's listening to this? What about encouragement? If there's someone out there who is, maybe in a similar situation as you, trying to, learn how to ink, try to learn how, maybe not ink, try to learn how to do their craft, what would you say to them?
there's no secret formula.
Yeah,
There's no magic wand. You got to put in the hours. You got to work hard at it. You got to practice. And sometimes you're going to be too tired to do it, but you're going to need to do it anyway.
yep, yep. Yeah, leaky, leaky old man butt says, "Do it every day, no matter what." And yeah, I think that's it. I think you got to be dedicated to it, and I think we talked about this yesterday on our stream. This is one of those things you have to really love what you're doing. You know.
Yeah, it's I posted a video, and I think Curtis shared it too. I mean, I got it from somebody else, where Jim Lee's like, "Should I be an
Oh, stop being
artist?"
an artist. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
should I stop being an artist? And it's like,
Yeah,
how can if you ask that you shouldn't be an artist?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and Jim Lee kind of went off a little bit
Well,
on a tangent.
I look back to what you just said too. Is that hey, you stopped for 10 years because life happened. You stopped for 10 years, but then you came back. And you know, you can't say that, and not everybody can say that about everything that they do. But you know, like I didn't go back to playing football. You know, I played football in high school. But you go back to that thing that you really love, and I think that's what you see, that you quit doing it, and now that you find yourself coming back to it.
Well, and some of that's also helped with the support around,
Yeah. Well, and you know, I'm not asking for confirmation, but this is one of the things that I find in Silverline, and the fact that we have our you know twice weekly streams. You know, we have Sundays and then Wednesdays. Is that there is a community of encouragement. And you know, when I see Michael doing this really cool stuff, that gets me excited. You know, when I see you doing the cool stuff, when I see Tommy doing the stuff, when I see Wubba doing the stuff, you know, when I see people doing the cool stuff, that gets me excited. And it's very much Curtis said something, and I'm gonna quote him a whole bunch on this. Is like, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats, and I love that. I love that idea about Silverline, and that's kind of, we're all kind of in this together, and
Curtis going fortune cookie.
Leaky Old Man said, I taught myself how to draw over the last couple of years and have gotten okay. Not amazing, but okay. And I think, I think that's what you got to do. You got to just keep going, and then you'll go from, okay to a little better than okay.
Yeah,
and then you'll go
talent. You hear this. Oh, you're so talented. Oh, you're so talented.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to tell you, and I heard somebody say it. Actually, it was Buzz Aldrin All who said it. He goes, it's not talent, it's skill.
Yeah.
And it's skill because you have to work and practice at it, just like they do to throw, that 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Fastball, that's right.
Or to, cross somebody over and dunk on them,
Yeah.
Or be able to run a 440, a 4-second 40 and, destroy the guy on the other end, carrying the football, that it takes practice to get there.
It does.
So it's a skill. It's a skill, just like a doctor has to practice and still practice, but we won't go there. To be able, to do what they do, it's a skill.
Yeah.
And you have to build a skill. You have to work it and shape it and mold it and hone it.
Absolutely. Well, good stuff here. See, Michael, you wanna add in anything? You wanna chime in, say anything? You're muted, by the way.
Hey, did I hear you say you were doing a Ramos page on your practice page?
Yeah, three or four of them. Yeah, amazing. It's an Amazing Spider-Man page.
Oh man, I like to see that when you're done. That's one of my favorite artists right there. But that's about it. That's all I got.
Humberto Ramos is?
Yeah.
I like his work. It's not. It's a little bit more cartoony than. But like
I don't know why. I don't know if you could tell why that might.
Yeah. No, my favorite Ramos. Ramos book is actually Crimson.
Oh, look.
Okay.
Right back there.
I've got it. I've got it down here.
Yeah.
I've got it down here. That's my favorite book by Ramos.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what caught my attention. I used to work in a.
What's a sweet page there?
Go
ahead. We got a little bit of a delay, I think.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's the first book. I was working in a video store that also sold comic books, and that's the first book I noticed him in. So, and it caught my attention way back then, 99, I think. So,
Well, yeah, that's more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Tommy said, "Great night, thanks." Leaky Old Man said, "It's like physics. Took me 24 years to be top in my field. Won't be the top in 2 years." That's right. See me when I'm 64 and still drawing. Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, well, everyone, we're going to call this a night. This has been Silverline 101 with Silverline's own. I know we don't own him, but sometimes I feel, what's the word? I feel, like he's ours. Our very own John Martin, who's inking Friar Rush. Friar Rush 1 you can get on, and I forgot to put the little banners up there in this whole thing. Friar Rush 1 you can get on Indie Planet. Just go to indieplanet.com/Silverline, and it'll pop up all the Silverline comics there. They're in alphabetical order. You'll see Friar Rush #1. You can order a copy there. Hopefully, once we get out of the plague, we'll start doing shows again, and you'll be able to catch John. John is kind of in the central U.S. area. You can find him in the Memphis area and the surrounding shows there. Hopefully, I'll get up and be able to jump into a show with him somewhere up there. But until, don't forget, Wednesday night, be back for the Wednesday Wham crew, in which you get to watch, see Michael drawing some more stuff again. Hopefully, maybe a little less sniffly. And these guys are gonna be talking about on Wednesday, and then us next Sunday. They're gonna be talking about best and worst superpowers. So we should have a blast with that. So. Until then, remember, and I got to do this in 2 steps here. I'm going to have to show you this, and then I'm going to have to pop the video up before we end. Until this, remember to make mine Silverline.
Silverline.
And play this.